Hiya, so in this video we're going to look at how to use a salt spreader, and the first thing you need to do is actually choose the spreader you're going to use. And you get two options. One is a winter salt spreader. A winter salt spreader will have this application hole, as the summer fertilizer spreader will have an application that looks like this. You want to make sure that you have as big a hole as possible, because salt clumps together and it's very difficult to spread when that happens through small holes. We're going to have a little look at how the Cresco 30 spreads salt. We're coming into the autumn. You're probably wondering why they're spreading salt. It's definitely summer, but we are coming into the autumn. Thankfully it's a really nice day, and we've got a test unit. This one has been used a lot. You can kind of see the fertilizer dust on it, and that's the reason why you're starting to see rust here on these metal parts. When you're using fertilizer and salt, you will always get rust. It's just a matter of time. This is a stainless steel unit, so it probably has the best defense against rust, both inside and out of the tubing. I mean, this has been used tons and tons and tons on our testing platform, and it's just always going to be, you're always going to be susceptible of rust. Come up to a grit bin such as this with plenty of salt, but the salt has to be nice and loose. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing very well at spreading it. Put in as much as you want. Pick up and off you go. So we're going to take a quick look in this grit bin, and we'll find out kind of why salt's so hard to spread. Sorry, it's not the most beautiful part of our location, but there we go. So we've had this grit bin for quite a while, and it does look a bit rugged, but we do always make sure that the top is on. But crucially, it doesn't matter that much because moisture gets inside, and it'll be the same if you go and look in any grit bin around the country. Most likely, unless it's been just recently changed, or salt's recently been added within a couple days, you'll start to get moisture in the salt, and the salt will start to go hard. So you can really see the difference in our grit bin. We have Peacock salt, which is really high quality salt. They're a really good supplier of ours. Here you can kind of see at the corner the older salt. So we've had a really dry summer, but still, you know, that's just rock hard. I'd have to get an axe to kind of just break it up a little bit. This is some of the newer salt, which you can see, you know, the bags are still there. Now this is free flowing. Now this is the stuff which we can spread. This is a really high quality salt for spreading. You can get grit. That's the sort of brown salt that you'll see and kind of makes a mess of your shoes, and that's even worse in terms of attracting moisture and just kind of solidifying. The marine salt is a bit better and it stays looser. If this was grit salt, it'd be pretty difficult to be doing what I'm doing now. The more moisture in salt, the harder it is for spreaders to actually spread it, and so this is the difficulty that we face. It's about how do you keep dry salt. Higher quality salt is always better, ice melt being the best, but you know, you'll see videos of people how to use a salt spreader, and they'll put some nice ice melt in it and it'll spread really nicely, but they've just put, you know, 30 quid's worth of ice melt in a tube like this. So it's a balance between getting the right price for your salt, but also the right quality so that you can spread it well. So really, when it comes to spreading salt, it is all about how dry the salt is. If it is absolutely sodden, it doesn't matter what you pay for your spreader, doesn't matter how good it is, it won't spread really wet salt, or at least not very well. The drier the salt, the better. The higher quality, the better it will spread too. But you've got to weigh up that option of, do I want to spend a lot of money on my salt, or do I just want to try and get it out and onto the ground at a much cheaper option, and potentially use a better spreader to spread less expensive salt. So anything you can do to try and cover your salt, keep it warm, even keep the bag inside, it'll just make it quick and easy, and it's a job done in sort of 10 minutes instead of kind of bouncing your spreader up and down to try and keep the salt moving. The only last thing I'd say is look out for an agitation within the spreader that moves the salt around for you. We've started the fun job of cleaning up, but I thought it would be good to just talk a little bit about the environment and the effect that you can clearly see that spreading salt has. We have been spreading quite a bit of salt, but we've put down a lot. Now all of this, when it rains, it will eventually work its way into the undergrowth, whether it's the wind or pushing it onto the fields out there, which probably wouldn't make our local farmer too happy. But the way in which we change this is by having better salt, having better spreaders. When you can spread easily, that's when you can actually put the right amount of salt down per square meter, and that's important because if you have a rubbish salt spreader, it will only have an on and an off. It won't be able to spread well enough to open at a closed aperture. Now if you can control the aperture and you don't need to worry about how well the spreader can actually spread the salt, you can begin to actually dictate exactly how much salt you want to put down on your area. And if you're close to any type of gardens, any water, lakes, salt's going to get in there and it's not going to do the environment any favors. So we are picking everything up and we'll put it in the bin and dispose of it. It's a bit of a boring job, but yeah, it's the right thing to do.